I have stayed at every single Disneyland Paris hotel, so let me help you decide which one's best for you. So hi everyone, how's life, and welcome to another one of my videos. Today I thought that as Disneyland Paris' reopening date is very quickly approaching, I would make a video talking about all the official Disney hotels on Disneyland property. I've been lucky enough to have stayed in all of them several times, and so in this video I'm going to go through each of these hotels individually and tell you a little bit about them, what I like about them, what I don't like about them, and just give you some information about all these hotels, because there's quite a lot of hotels, and I think especially for first-time visitors to Disneyland Paris, they might be a bit confused as to which one might be best for them, because even though a hotel might be a 5-star hotel, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best hotel for your family. So yeah, let's get into it. So Disneyland Paris has 7 official Disney hotels. 6 of them are literally like very close to the parks, like they're within walking distance, and I'm going to start talking about them first, and then there's also the 7th one, which is a little bit further away and you can only drive from that one to the parks, but that is also owned by Disney, so we're going to talk about that one last. But the 6 main hotels at Disneyland Paris are Santa Fe Hotel, Disney's Hotel Cheyenne, Sequoia Lodge, Newport Bay, Hotel New York Art of Marvel, and of course the Disneyland Hotel, which is the main one. Now I just listed them in order of, you know, fewest stars up to the most amount of stars, which is 5 stars for Disneyland Hotel. But as I said earlier, just because a hotel has 5 stars doesn't necessarily mean that that's the hotel that you should be choosing for your holiday, because honestly, having stayed at all of these hotels multiple times, I can tell you that I have had great experiences at every single one of them. So they all definitely have their good points. They're all Disney hotels. One thing I always tell people actually is that if they have the choice to stay in a Disney hotel rather than a partner hotel or a non-Disney hotel, I would always recommend to stay in a Disney hotel if you can. To me, a Disney hotel that has only 2 stars is better than staying in a non-Disney hotel that has like 4 or 5 stars, if the main reason for your holiday is to go to Disney, you know? Of course, if you've gone to Paris for like a bigger trip and you only want to go to Disney parks for a couple of days, that's a different story. Anyway, I feel like this video is going to be quite long, so maybe get yourself a drink, because I'm probably going to be talking for a while. We are going to start from the 2 lowest ones. So Santa Fe and Hotel Cheyenne both are 2-star hotels in Disney, and some people call these hotels budget hotels or value hotels, because for most people they tend to be the most affordable ones. So yeah, let's start with Santa Fe. Now Hotel Santa Fe normally tends to be the cheapest hotel that you can find when you're trying to book a Disneyland Paris stay, even though Santa Fe and Cheyenne are very similar in terms of how far they are from the parks, in terms of their qualities, in terms of what they offer to the guests. From experience, I've found that normally Santa Fe tends to be just a little bit cheaper than Cheyenne, maybe just by, I don't know, like £20 or something. That's not always the case. Sometimes Cheyenne can be cheaper depending on the time of year, but normally speaking, Santa Fe does tend to be the cheapest one. So Santa Fe Hotel is based on the theming of Santa Fe, of course. It's kind of like a Route 66 vibe around it. You really do feel like you're in America somewhere when you stay at Santa Fe. And a few years ago, I think it might have been around 2013, they renovated this hotel to make it very much Cars themed. So up until about 2013, Santa Fe Hotel was all about Santa Fe, like making you feel like you're in Santa Fe in America. And with the renovations that they did in 2013, they changed the rooms to make it more Disney, I suppose, you know, put some characters in there, Lightning McQueen, etc. And also just generally changed the theming of the hotel a little bit, because Santa Fe goes well with the theming of Cars anyway. They're both kind of traditional American roads and sunshine and that kind of vibe, and I liked Santa Fe before the theming, but I think it's even better now. With the new theming, it's now a hotel that can easily appeal to kids, especially if your kids or yourself, if you're a big fan of Cars, you're gonna love this hotel. It's a given, you know, it's very themed to Cars, and the rooms are really cool at Santa Fe. Like some of the details in the rooms, and like the traffic cones, for instance, that they've used for the lights, etc. I think they're really nicely themed rooms. They're not the biggest rooms, of course. The beds are also not extremely comfortable, but considering the price of these rooms, I think they have all you need, to be honest. Like, they're very clean, the theming is on point, and it's just a fun hotel, right? There are no fridges, by the way, in most of the Disneyland Paris hotels. It's something that I didn't even realize, because it's not something that I particularly care about, but I think over in America and in American Disney parks, having a fridge in rooms is like a pretty big thing. Like, Americans love fridges in their rooms. In any case, I've never found it to be a problem at all, but because I've noticed a lot of like English and American people say this about some of the Disneyland Paris hotels, I thought it's worth mentioning that in most of the Disneyland Paris hotels, you don't get a fridge in your room. So Santa Fe definitely does not have a fridge, which, like I said, for me it's never been a problem, but it's something for you to take into consideration if you really want a fridge. Now, most of the Santa Fe rooms are kind of in different blocks, so I think they've got 4 different areas in Santa Fe. Like, one is meant to be Sally, one Lightning McQueen, one is Mater, etc. And yeah, the pathways actually to these different areas are actually really fun to walk through. Most of these blocks have about 2 levels. Some of them have 3, I think, but the majority of them have only 2 levels. So if you have mobility issues, or maybe if you're traveling with kids who might find it a bit difficult having to use stairs constantly, I would recommend maybe requesting a ground level room if you're booking the Santa Fe hotel. More than likely, Disney will try and give you what you want. So especially if you booked well in advance and the hotel is not full, if you ask them for a room that is on the ground floor, they can give you that, so you don't have to worry about stairs. Having said that, some of the Santa Fe rooms and blocks do actually have lifts in them. Not all of them do, as far as I'm aware, but some of them do. So I've stayed at Santa Fe way too many times. I can't remember exactly which blocks have the lift and which ones don't, but that's also something that you can maybe ask for if you're staying at the Santa Fe. Maybe asking them to put you somewhere that actually does have a lift, so you don't have to worry about stairs. The other thing that I really like about Santa Fe is that it does actually have a Starbucks in the actual hotel. So this is really convenient for breakfast options, or even like a light dinner or something at the end of the day. It's just nice to have a Starbucks literally where you're staying. The other thing about Santa Fe Hotel is that it's within walking distance to the park. So as I said before, all of the 6 main hotels at Disneyland Paris are walkable, and with Santa Fe it probably takes about 20 minutes, if that. I would say it's actually probably closer to 15 minutes from, you know, the hotel to the park. However, if you don't want to walk, they do also offer shuttle buses that are free of charge if you're staying at the hotel, so you can just use the bus. I hardly ever use the bus myself because I find walking quicker, but buses are available. I think they come every 15 minutes or so, and yeah, they run all throughout the day, from like, I want to say 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning up until an hour or so after the park closes. So you always have the option of a bus if you don't want to walk, but the walk is very enjoyable, so I would definitely recommend the walk. Right, let's move on to the next hotel now, which is Hotel Cheyenne. Hotel Cheyenne is one of my favorite hotels in Disney ever. I have stayed in this hotel so many times. I think it's probably actually the hotel that I've stayed at the most in Disneyland Paris. Hotel Cheyenne is very much a Wild West themed hotel. It's got a lot of cowboy vibes, so if you're a fan of that, you know, you would really enjoy it. And I think one of the reasons actually that Hotel Cheyenne normally tends to be a little bit more expensive than Santa Fe is the theming of it, because honestly, apart from the theming, Cheyenne and Santa Fe are basically the same in terms of quality, in terms of the distance from the parks, in terms of like the size of the rooms. So really it goes down to the theming as to which one you want to stay at. And I think generally speaking, a cowboy theme seems to be a little bit more popular amongst people than the Santa Fe vibe of cars. Anyway, so as I was saying, Hotel Cheyenne has a Wild West vibe. It has a very, very lovely smell when you enter the lobby. The reception area is one of my favorite smells of Disney. I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but there's something about the smell of like the wooden floor and the wooden vibes around that reception that just brings me home. Don't worry, it's not a bad smell at all, but it is definitely a distinct smell that you get in that reception that I really, really love. So maybe if you ever stay there, to watch out for that smell. Anyway, the rooms at Hotel Cheyenne were also renovated recently. They are actually a bit more recently renovated than the ones at Santa Fe. So again, that could also be one of the reasons why Hotel Cheyenne is normally a little bit more expensive than Santa Fe, because the rooms in Hotel Cheyenne were renovated, I want to say back in 2017. I think that's when they started the renovations, and it ended in 2018. So it's only been a few years since the last time they renovated them. And with Hotel Cheyenne as well, before the renovations in 2017, whilst the rooms were still Wild West themed, they didn't have the Toy Story theme that they have now. So nowadays the theming in Hotel Cheyenne is even better than it used to be, because they have Toy Story stuff everywhere in the rooms. Like Woody is there, you can see like a cowboy boot lamp, which is really cute. The curtains in the hotels are amazing. Like, as somebody who loves Toy Story, I mean, it's literally my dream hotel. In terms of size of the room, as I said, they're basically the exact same size as the rooms in Santa Fe. The beds again are basically the same as the beds in Santa Fe, so I wouldn't say the beds are the most comfortable, but if you're only going for a few days and you're not going to be spending a whole lot of time in the rooms, I would say it's the perfect room for you, honestly. The layout of the hotel again is also very similar to Santa Fe in the sense that they have different blocks, and each block has about 2 levels normally. And again, if you're worried about stairs, you can request to be on the bottom floor. As far as I'm aware, none of the Cheyenne blocks have lifts in them. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that most of them are just stairs only. So like I said, if you really don't want to worry about stairs, it is best to just ask for a ground floor room. Anyway, I actually love like the different names that they have for the different blocks at Cheyenne. I've stayed at almost all of the blocks at this point, and every time I stay at the Cheyenne, I like to make sure that I stay at a different block, because they have really cool names like Calamity Jane or Sitting Bull. It's just a really fun atmosphere. Like, I just really like the vibe of Hotel Cheyenne. You really do feel like you're in like a Wild West area, and yeah, you know, the amenities are, like I said, the same as you would get in Santa Fe, but the theming is slightly different. Now, two things that are different between Cheyenne and Santa Fe is that Hotel Santa Fe is one of only 2 Disneyland Paris hotels that actually offers family rooms. And when I say family rooms, I mean rooms that can accommodate about 6 people. So Cheyenne doesn't have that option. So if you're a bigger family or if you're a group of friends, Hotel Cheyenne might not be the best for you automatically because they don't have rooms that can, you know, have that many people in them, whereas Hotel Santa Fe does offer family rooms. They are limited, so they don't have a lot of family rooms, but they do have that option. So they work better for slightly bigger families. But then in contrast, something that Cheyenne has that Santa Fe doesn't have, and this is a very small thing, but it's something that I find pretty fun. So Hotel Cheyenne sometimes offers pony rides for kids. Not always, again, it depends on the time of year and the weather, but at certain times of year, if you're staying at the Cheyenne Hotel, you can go on a pony and just enjoy a nice pony ride around the hotel, which is really fun. Now, I've unfortunately never done this because, as I said, it's meant to be for kids, but the very first time that I stayed at Hotel Cheyenne was when I was about, I want to say 9 or 10 years old. I was there with my family and my uncle's family, so there were 7 of us all together, and I was so excited. Like, that was my first time at the Cheyenne and I loved it so much. And I remember we saw the ponies and I wanted to go on them. So did my brother and my younger cousin. So my brother is about 3 years younger than me, my cousin is about 4 years younger than me. Like I said, I was about 9 or 10 at the time, so annoyingly I wasn't allowed to ride the ponies at that age, which obviously is understandable. Like, I completely get it, especially now looking back, but I remember I was quite upset about it when I was younger because my brother went on the ponies, my cousin went on them, and I just had to walk around and watch them have a good time on the ponies because I was apparently too old. So yeah, that's something to, you know, take into consideration. They're not going to let everyone on the ponies. Obviously it depends on your size, because at the end of the day, you know, they're ponies. You don't want to like injure the poor ponies, like if you put too much weight on them. But yeah, that is something that is unique to Hotel Cheyenne, and I think is really fun because it's such a nice theming as well around it. So if you have kids who really like animals, they might enjoy Hotel Cheyenne because of this reason. Hotel Cheyenne also does have a Starbucks, which is very exciting. Again, very similar to Santa Fe Hotel. There's a Starbucks literally at the hotel that you can use for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and you know, for me that is so convenient because I love my Starbucks coffee in the mornings and I always get one when I'm staying at the Cheyenne or Santa Fe. The walk from Cheyenne to the parks is again the exact same as the walk from Santa Fe to the parks, as in they both take about 20 minutes max. In fact, there's a bit where the pathway from Santa Fe and the pathway from the Cheyenne going towards the park actually kind of get together and they become the same pathway. And as I said, for me it's a lovely walk. Like, I would always walk if I go there, but they do also offer shuttle buses, as I said, which can be useful for people who have kids, or if you have a lot of like luggage with you and you don't want to like walk with that, you can of course use the buses that run frequently every 15 minutes or so. Right, next we get to Disney's Sequoia Lodge Hotel, and it's funny because contrary to the Cheyenne Hotel being my most stayed Disney hotel, I think Sequoia Lodge is the hotel that I've stayed at the least in Disneyland Paris. And the reason for that is Sequoia Lodge is known as a 3-star hotel in Disneyland Paris, so it's one step above Santa Fe and Cheyenne, so very much in the middle in terms of quality, I suppose. And for me, if I'm going to Disneyland Paris and I'm not on like a budget and I want to maybe treat myself, I normally would prefer to spend a little bit more and just go to Newport Bay or Hotel New York back when it was called that. So I normally tend to just skip the Sequoia Lodge level, and I think the theming of it as well is not particularly to my taste. Like, I do enjoy it, but it's not my favorite theming. Sequoia Lodge has a very foresty kind of American National Park vibe. It's a very cozy hotel. It's very wooden and dark. I think this is actually a lovely hotel to stay at in the colder months of the year. So if you're traveling, I don't know, in autumn or winter, it's a really lovely place to stay at. Particularly during the Christmas season, Sequoia Lodge looks beautiful with the decorations. The lobby is like really, really nice and cozy. The rooms are also very lovely. They've got very much like brown and cream themes. They've got some Disney characters as well that Disney actually, you know, added to the rooms recently. Sequoia Lodge was, I think, last renovated around, I want to say 2013 or 14 as well. So it's been a while since they renovated Sequoia Lodge, but the rooms do have some Bambi characters in them, and you know, Thumper, and I'm pretty sure Chip and Dale are there as well, which is really cute because I love Chip and Dale. So yeah, the rooms are really, really fun and very, very cozy, and the beds are significantly more comfortable than the beds at Santa Fe or the Cheyenne. Again, no fridge though, so if you're somebody who wants a fridge for some reason in your hotel room, there isn't one. Another thing worth noting about Sequoia Lodge is that Sequoia Lodge actually has a pool. So if you're somebody who really wants to stay somewhere where you can, you know, enjoy a swimming pool, Sequoia Lodge is the first hotel in terms of stars that actually offers a pool. They've got an indoor pool and it's a really, really fun pool. Like, I've never been in it because I'm not about that life. When I go to Disneyland Paris, I just want to enjoy the parks. I don't really want to go to a pool, but I've seen the pool and it does does look awesome. So yeah, that's definitely something extra that you would get if you stay at Sequoia Lodge instead of the 2 budget hotels, which are Santa Fe and Cheyenne. With Sequoia Lodge also comes the introduction of club level. So Sequoia Lodge's club level is called Golden Forest. Fun fact, of the 3 times that I've stayed at the Sequoia Lodge, 2 of them I did Golden Forest, so I stayed club level, and I preferred those 2 times to my regular stays. If you're interested about the different club levels in Disneyland Paris hotels, I will make a whole separate video about that as well, because otherwise this video will be way too long. But I will tell you that Golden Forest is definitely worth it if you're staying at Sequoia Lodge. And one of the biggest things about Golden Forest is that if you stay Golden Forest, you will get to stay in the main building of Sequoia Lodge. So the rooms are slightly bigger, and also the rooms are literally like in the main building, so you're very close to everything. Whereas if you book a normal regular room in Sequoia Lodge, you will probably end up in one of the lodges around the hotel, so not the big area in the middle, but one of the lodges that are nearby, which is fine. Like, it's still fine, you just have to walk a little bit to get to your room. The rooms have basically the exact same theming, more or less, and it's absolutely fine. I'm not saying it's like a huge difference, but the Golden Forest rooms are definitely better. But enough about that. Like I said, I can talk about club level a lot more, which I'll do in a separate video. But another fun thing about Sequoia Lodge is just the atmosphere of it. Like I said, like, they have a really lovely cozy bar area in the reception, which is so nice. You can just go there, grab yourself a drink or a coffee or hot chocolate, and just sit on these really comfortable sofas next to like a fire area, and it's just a really nice way to relax. I definitely recommend it. They also have some nice restaurants at Sequoia Lodge. I mean, Santa Fe and Cheyenne also have a restaurant each. Hotel Santa Fe is called La Cantina. I actually have a whole video on my channel about my experience eating at the La Cantina restaurant in Santa Fe, and then Hotel Cheyenne's is Chuck Wagon Cafe, which is also where they would serve breakfast, lunch and dinner. But Sequoia Lodge has better restaurants. I mean, that is a given. But I personally don't choose my hotel based on the restaurants that the hotel has, especially not when I'm going to Disneyland Paris, because as I said, I'm planning on spending most of my time in the park, so I don't care what restaurants are available in my hotel, because if I don't want to eat at my hotel, I can literally just go and eat anywhere else. There are so many other places to eat in Disneyland Paris that you don't have to eat at your hotel. So yeah, that is worth noting though. Now, the distance from Sequoia Lodge to the parks is about, I want to say 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes. It's a little bit closer than Cheyenne and Santa Fe, and it's a really lovely walk. Sequoia Lodge is one of the 3 Disneyland Paris hotels around Lake Disney, so it's just a very nice place to be anyway because of the surrounding area. And if you plan to walk from Sequoia Lodge to the parks, you literally get to walk by the lake and go past different hotels and see Panorama Magique, which is a hot air balloon in Disney Village. I mean, it's a really nice walk, and it doesn't take more than 15 minutes, honestly. But as with the other hotels, they do also have a shuttle bus at Sequoia Lodge, so if you prefer to use the bus, you can do that. Let's move on now to Disney's Newport Bay Hotel. So Newport Bay seems to be a fan favorite, especially amongst Disney World fans. So people who are more used to the American way of doing hotels, they seem to really love Newport Bay because it's a lot closer in its theming and just vibe to the hotels over in Disney World. Fun fact, actually, Disney's Newport Bay Hotel was designed by the same person who designed Yacht and Beach Club in Disney World, so no wonder they're so similar. And Newport Bay Hotel's theming, again, is very similar to the Yacht and Beach Club in Disney World, so it's very nautical, you know, the sea, a beach, you know, lighthouses, sailing, that kind of vibe. I really like it because I prefer my hotel and my rooms to be a bit more light rather than the theming of Sequoia Lodge, which is a bit more dark. And this is very much a preferential thing. Some people prefer slightly darker rooms because they find them more cozy. I like my rooms to be bright and kind of colorful, and that's what the Newport Bay offers because most of the rooms are very pastel colored. And I love the beds at the Newport Bay. The beds at Newport Bay are so cute because you've got like the Mickey ears on top of the beds. They are really, really cute. The beds are really comfortable at Newport Bay. The rooms are lovely. Newport Bay was last renovated in 2016, I want to say. So again, it's only been a few years since their last renovation. And actually, before Newport Bay's last renovation back in 2016, Newport Bay and Sequoia Lodge were the exact same in terms of the amount of stars they had. So Newport Bay used to also be a 3-star hotel back then, but after its renovation, it moved up a star, so now it's a 4-star hotel, and you can definitely see it. As somebody who stayed at Newport Bay before and has now stayed after as well, I can see the improved quality of the hotel ever since they renovated it. It definitely deserves to be a 4-star hotel now. I can see why they changed the stars. This hotel also has the most amount of rooms in Disneyland Paris, so it's the biggest hotels, and whilst that could be a good thing, it can also be annoying, especially if you end up being given a room that is very far from the reception. So that's actually a very, very common thing for people that stayed at Newport Bay. Sometimes it can take you up to like 10 minutes to get to your room from the reception because there are so many corridors and hallways that you have to go through to get to your room because the hotel is so big. So again, it's worth mentioning that if you really want a room that is closer to the reception, it's worth asking, because otherwise they might give you a room that is very, very far from the reception and you're gonna have to walk quite a bit to get there, which again, as somebody who travels either on my own or with friends, I don't particularly mind. Like, who cares if I have to walk a little bit extra? But if you're with a big group or you have young children, it might be a bit annoying or a bit difficult, so worth requesting a room closer to the reception, because otherwise chances are you'll get a room that is quite far from the reception. Just a warning. Newport Bay's restaurants are also lovely, so if that's something that for some reason you really care about, I can assure you that Newport Bay has some lovely eating options. It's got 2 restaurants, both are really, really good, and the bar area is also very nice. I really actually like the shop as well. So every Disney hotel, I don't know if I mentioned this, but every single Disney hotel does have a Disney store inside it, which is really fun, and the Newport Bay's store is one of my favorite stores. So that's that. Newport Bay is also one of the other hotels at Disneyland Paris that actually offers family rooms. So as you remember earlier, I said Santa Fe does offer family rooms. Newport Bay is the other Disney hotel in Paris that does offer family rooms. So if you're a bigger group, if you're 6 people, Newport Bay does have rooms that can accommodate larger groups, so up to 6 people, I think, which is really convenient, because those rooms are also slightly bigger, of course, because they want to have more people in them. Newport Bay also does have a club level, which is called the Compass Club, also very much worth it, but again, I'll talk about in a separate video. The walking distance from Newport Bay to Disneyland Paris is more or less the same as from Sequoia Lodge. I would actually say it might be a little bit longer, just because of its location. Like, Sequoia Lodge seems to be just a tiny bit closer to the parks, but more or less it's going to take you about 15 minutes from Newport Bay to the parks. And if you're not a fan of walking, you do of course again have the option to get the buses. Newport Bay also does have a pool, a swimming pool, which is fun if you're into that. But also it's worth mentioning that neither Newport Bay nor the Sequoia Lodge have a Starbucks. So the Starbucks are only available for the budget hotels for Santa Fe and Cheyenne. And also another question that I get a lot is with room service. There is no room service option for any of the hotels that I've mentioned so far. You can get room service if you're staying club level in Sequoia Lodge or Newport Bay, but the regular rooms, even in Newport Bay, don't offer you the choice to get room service. So again, if that's something that bothers you, maybe don't stay there. Moving on to the next hotel, which is one of the more exciting hotels because it's actually had a huge renovation in the past few years and it's meant to be reopening very, very soon, next month on the 21st of June. That is of course Disney's Hotel New York Art of Marvel. Now, before renovations, this hotel was simply called Hotel New York. Now it's called Disney's Hotel New York Art of Marvel, so it's had a Marvel theming. Instead of it just having a New York vibe, it's got a New York vibe in addition to a lot of Marvel characters, which is really fun because Disney needs to move on, you know, and progress with the new things that they've bought in the past few years. And of course Marvel is now owned by Disney, so to have a Marvel hotel in Disneyland Paris is very cool because a lot of people love Marvel, and so far a hotel like this doesn't exist in any of the Disney parks worldwide. So whilst Disney World has recently been building the Star Wars hotel, Disneyland Paris now offers a hotel that is very much Marvel themed, which is very, very cool. So I have stayed at the New York hotel a few times, but I'm yet to stay there since it's, you know, renovation. I will be there hopefully next month for its opening, so if you want to see a full room tour, a full hotel tour of my time, you know, at the New York Art of Marvel hotel, make sure to subscribe because that will be coming up hopefully very, very soon. But let's talk about its location because the location is the exact same as it used to be. Now, New York hotel, in terms of location, I would say is actually my favorite hotel because it is located right at the beginning of Disney Village. So it's basically the best of both worlds. So you get the lake vibe, you know, you've got really lovely views of Lake Disney and Newport Bay and Sequoia Lodge that are all around the lake, and you also have the benefit of having just a very, very short walk through Disney Village to get to the park. And I personally love that because whilst Disneyland Hotel, which we're going to get to in a bit, is located even closer to the park, like it's literally like the entrance of Disneyland Park, I personally prefer having that little short walk to the parks, you know, when I'm getting to the park, especially because Disney Village has a lot of food options. So if you're on the way to the parks in the morning and you're going through Disney Village, you can get yourself, I don't know, a Starbucks from the Starbucks there, or a McDonald's breakfast, or Earl of Sandwich, you know, something as you're on your way to the parks, which can be very convenient. And the whole journey wouldn't take you more than 10 minutes, like from your hotel room up to the entrance of the parks, it shouldn't be more than 10 minutes. So with Hotel New York, like walking literally is the best way, and I love it for that. Now, the rooms, as I said, they have recently been renovated, so I'll show you some pictures right now so you get a vibe of what the current rooms are meant to look like. But as I said, I will be making a full tour as well of the rooms. The rooms are pretty big. They're somewhat bigger than the rooms that you would find in Newport Bay, and particularly Sequoia Lodge. Hotel New York as a hotel though is smaller than Newport Bay, so for that reason it can actually be more convenient because, you know, everything is closer to the reception because there aren't as many rooms. They have 2 dining locations, which I'm so excited to hopefully try now that they've renovated them. A really cool looking bar, again, that has been renovated. They do of course also have a club level, which I was lucky enough to stay club level at Hotel New York back in 2011 when I was staying there for my 21st birthday. My family and I stayed club level, which is called like Empire State. I'm not sure what the club level is called now, but you know, I was very happy with club level back then, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be even better now, because I think, again, with Hotel New York's recent renovation, even though it's still a 4-star hotel, it has moved up just a little bit from Newport Bay. So now the quality of Hotel New York is meant to be closer to the Disneyland Hotel rather than to the Newport Bay, or somewhere in between them, which is very exciting. I'm so excited to stay there. But yeah, I would recommend Hotel New York more than anything for its location. The rooms are big, they're clean, and obviously with the new theming it's going to be even more fun. And yeah, all in all, a very, very good hotel. So now we get to the main hotel at Disneyland Paris, which is Disneyland Hotel. Disneyland Hotel is literally my favorite hotel of all time, so I hardly have anything bad to say about this hotel. It is a beautiful hotel, stunning, you know, from the outside, from the inside, everything about it. The smell of this hotel, like when you enter Disneyland Hotel, please just sniff it because it smells magical. The smell is so beautiful and magical and so well loved by Disneyland Paris fans that they actually sell the smell. Like, you can buy the smell in the Disneyland Hotel shop as a candle or like a perfume. I've never done it because it is a little bit pricey, but it's an amazing smell, so maybe one day I will treat myself. But it's a stunning hotel. So the Disneyland Hotel, I would say, if you're planning on staying at Disneyland Paris for more than maybe 3 days, it's definitely worth it, especially if you're planning on spending some time in the hotel and the rooms themselves, because otherwise it might be a bit of a waste of money. The rooms in Disneyland Hotel are beautiful. Now, it is worth mentioning that at the time of filming this in May of 2021, Disneyland Hotel is currently under renovation, which I think is a great thing because it had been a while since this hotel was renovated, and this current renovation was planned for many, many years. So Disneyland Paris was just waiting for the best time to finally renovate Disneyland Hotel, and the time is now. So Disney have actually announced that with the new renovations, they are going to be changing the theming of the rooms in Disneyland Hotel, which I'm personally excited about. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved the theming beforehand, and in fact, I am going to link a video down below of a full-on room tour of a room in Disneyland Hotel if you want to see what they looked like before, because they looked stunning even beforehand, in my opinion. But I think Disney over the past few years have been trying to make all their hotels a little bit more Disney-fied, so they're planning to do the same thing with Disneyland Hotel and adding, you know, a few bits of magic to the rooms, like some Disney characters. I think, you know, it's going to be very, very classy and posh, I think. Still, I really do trust Disney to make it look as nice as possible. But again, I am going to show you a picture here of what the design is going to look like for the rooms after they renovated. Nobody knows how long the renovation is going to take, but it's going to be at least a few years. Like, I don't imagine Disneyland Hotel to reopen until 2023 at the very earliest. But yeah, the rooms are beautiful. The beds are very comfortable. The service that you get at the Disneyland Hotel is like incredible. The actual vibe of the hotel, you know, the lobby, the reception is stunning. Like, wow, you really do feel like royalty staying at the Disneyland Hotel. And of course, we have to talk about the location as well. I mean, you're literally going to be at the entrance of Disneyland Park if you stay at this hotel, which is incredible. You can't say that anywhere else. None of the other Disney parks around the world have a hotel that is so close to their main park, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, location wise, you're sorted, especially if you're staying there with kids or like very, very young kids especially, and you're staying there for longer than a few days. I would recommend this hotel for sure. I would say it's definitely worth the extra money because it's just going to make your life so much easier, and you're going to receive incredible service and really, really lovely, comfortable, big rooms. There's just a special feeling that you get if you're staying at the Disneyland Hotel. Like, I can't even explain it, but you do feel extra magical when you're there. Disneyland Hotel also has some phenomenal restaurants, one being called California Grill, which is literally like signature dining, I would say. Incredible food, like really, really great quality food. I've eaten there once. They also have, of course, Inventions, which is normally like a character dining experience. Inventions also offers like special invention brunches on Sunday, so if you go on a Sunday, you will get different themed characters, which is really fun. The brunch is slightly more expensive than the regular food that you would get there, but yeah, in terms of food, I literally cannot recommend both of these restaurants enough. They are, of course, expensive though, so the restaurants will be more expensive in Disneyland Hotel than they would be in the other hotels. They have a lot of lovely areas to like relax and chill as well, like a really nice bar and a grand piano where you can listen to, you know, Disney tunes being played beautifully by a lovely pianist. One of my favorite places in Disneyland Hotel is actually Cafe Fantasia. I think it's got some of the best hot chocolates I've ever had. You can get some incredible crepes there. You can also get alcoholic beverages there if you want to. Oh my god, it is just an incredible atmosphere, and you know, they've got the piano nearby as well, so you can hear lovely tunes as you're sipping on your incredible hot chocolate. Wow, so good. Like, I love this hotel. And yeah, they do have a pool as well. They have a gym. They have basically everything that you could wish for. They do also offer room service. So when I stayed there in 2017 with some of my friends over Halloween, we actually ordered some room service for our breakfast on one of the mornings that we were there, and it was incredible. We had our breakfast in the room with the terrace open because we had a room with a terrace, which was really lovely. You can watch the vlog of that if you want to, by the way, as well. I have so many vlogs from Disneyland Paris on my channel from different times that I've been, different hotels that I've stayed at, so just check them out, you know, if you want to see more of an actual idea of, like, you know, how it's like to stay in one of these Disney hotels. But yeah, that is the Disneyland Hotel. And yeah, they do have a club level as well, which is called Castle Club. That is one club level that I have unfortunately not been able to stay at yet because it's very expensive, but Castle Club is meant to be incredible, like, you know, very expensive but incredible. So I'm like waiting for a special occasion to do it. I was hoping to do it last year actually for my 30th birthday, but of course, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, that was not possible. So maybe I'll wait for my 35th birthday or something. But yeah, it's incredible. Now, there is also one more Disney-owned hotel in Disneyland Paris, which is the Davy Crockett Ranch, and this hotel isn't actually located close to the park. It's a little bit further. It's definitely still in the vicinity of Disneyland Paris, but you can't walk from that one to the parks. In fact, you do need a car if you're staying at Davy Crockett Ranch because they don't offer shuttle buses from there to the parks either. And from what I've heard, it's really difficult to like get an Uber or a taxi to come and take you to the parks as well. And I mean, even if you could do that, why would you want to do that? You know, that's an extra cost, and you don't need that if you just stay at one of the actual main hotels. But what Davy Crockett Ranch is very good for, again, I would say, is for families or bigger groups. Davy Crockett Ranch is very much a self-catering hotel, so if you book to stay there, you would be given like a cabin. That means slightly more space because in the cabin you normally get about 2 rooms and I think something like 4 or 5 beds, which is very convenient, especially again if you've got, you know, multiple kids. You get your own kitchenette and like a little dining area and a sofa. Again, I have a full tour of one of these cabins on my channel, so I'll leave a link down below if you want to check it out. But they are really good if that's the kind of vibe you're going for. Very much self-catering, very much like, you know, having your own space and having more than one room and having more of like a cabin kind of foresty vibe. In terms of theming, it's actually very similar to Sequoia Lodge, so a lot of families do love this hotel. But as I said, you do need to be able to drive. You do need to have a car if you stay there, and that's not too difficult, you know, if you know how to drive. Like when my friend and I stayed there back in 2019, like I don't drive but my friend drives, so we got the Eurostar to Paris, and then when we got to Disneyland Paris, that's where we got the car for our stay. So we hired a car for a few days, and that's the car that we used whilst we stayed there, and it was fine. You know, the whole process was really easy, you know, from getting the car to then returning it, and it just meant that we could stay there easily without having to worry about how to get to the parks and back. And as far as I remember, the drive from Davy Crockett Ranch to the parks wasn't very long really. Like it probably took about 10-15 minutes max, so not a big deal whatsoever. Like I said, this hotel is very convenient, especially for bigger families, you know, one you can drive. It can be a very good alternative to the hotels that are located right next to the park. And because it's still Disney, you do get fantastic customer service. You do also have a lovely restaurant in the hotel that I've eaten at, which is really good. It's a buffet style meal, and you also do have a pool as well as a Disney store. You know, the Disney store is of course still going to be there for you, like a specific store for that hotel to keep the Disney magic alive. But yeah, that is it. I feel like I've been talking for a long time, and I genuinely have. I've been here for about an hour. I hope you enjoyed this video though. I hope it was informative for you. If you have any questions about any of these hotels, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, and I will try my best to answer you, because as I said, I've been going to Disneyland Paris for so many years now, and I've stayed at all these hotels many times. So whilst I've tried to tell you everything that I know or think might be useful about these hotels, there might be things here and there that I would have not thought about because they might have not applied to me. So feel free to ask them anyway, because, you know, I might be able to find out for you, or I might have just forgotten to mention them. There will be a lot of Disneyland Paris content coming up very soon, so subscribe for more videos like this if you want to. Follow me on Instagram as well, because sometimes for me it's easier to reply to your messages on Instagram rather than here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've had a lovely day, and I hope you get to go to Disneyland Paris soon. I know it's been a difficult time because of the pandemic, but hopefully gradually the rules will change and more people will be able to travel to Disneyland Paris from the UK and other parts of the world. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.